A long, long time ago, around 2700 BC, in mainland China, Empress Shennong discovered a mystical plant with magical properties known as Cheeba. It was said that the plant was a medicine and it could heal people. He also enlisted the plant in his ancient pharmacopoeia, Pansao Ching. The legend of this mystical plant has different names and different sagas across the world with but one function, that it heals. Meanwhile, in Egypt, pollen from this plant was found on the mummy of Ramesses II, who died in 1213 BC. The Egyptians used the herb to treat glaucoma, inflammation, and cooling the uterus. Around 1000 BC, India was developing an aesthetic made with a milk base and the herb. By 600 BC, with Cheeba, the country was making groundbreaking advancements in medicine, developing a successful medicine stream called Ayurveda, specifically to cure leprosy. The Persians were introduced to Cheeba through the religious text Venedad as one of the 10,000 most important medicinal plants. It only got bigger from there. After Napoleon's forces invaded Egypt, they brought back home a plant. The same plant that was widely used in the reign of Ramesses II, Cheeba. North America was introduced to Cheeba in 1611 with the arrival of the Jamestown settlers who established the first permanent English colony in America. It was so popular that Virginia awarded bounties for those who produced it and penalized those who did not. The herb was made to heal, and in 1850 as a treatment for numerous afflictions including neuralgia, tetanus, typhus, chloria, rabies, dysentery, alcoholism, addiction, anthrax, and leprosy, among many others, was listed in the US Pharmacopoeia. Cheeba was on fire. As the modern vernacular goes, the house was lit. Cheeba, as you might have realized by now, is a fairly modern term for cannabis, weed, hemp, or simply the herb. So, after almost 5,000 years of love for this herb, the future man might ask, when did shit start flowing upwards? After 1910s, in the Prohibition era, US states were prohibiting cannabis use one by one. Meanwhile, Harry J. Anslinger would popularize the term marijuana, capitalizing on the populations with anti-immigrant sentiments. The idea was to echo the preconceived notions of Mexicans that these masses had and use it to stigmatize both the herb and the people who indulged themselves in it. By the end of 1936 came along the most important piece of feature film, Reefer Madness.
Just a young boy. Under the influence of the drug, he killed his entire family with an axe.
Reefer Madness targeted the racial tension in America and publicized the notion that weed makes white women have sex or extramarital affairs with black men. On June 17, 1971, President Nixon hammered the last nail in the coffin when he declared the war on drugs.
I have zero chill. The war on drugs begins now.
Soon later, John L. Rickman, assistant of President Nixon, came out and confessed to the conspiracy.
And blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did.
Things got very dark during the Nixon era, but the Reagan administration was yet to come. St. Reagan signed the Anti-Abuse Drug Act in 1986, raising the penalties for marijuana selling and possession. Possession of 100 marijuana plants received the same penalty as 100 grams of heroin. But even today, black adults are 4 times more likely to be arrested for possession. Declared in 1970, even today, marijuana is still considered a Schedule 1 drug alongside heroin, which are more dangerous than drugs like cocaine and meth listed under Schedule 2. War on drugs exploded the prison population in America, which grew at 900% from 1970. The population in prison rose from 200,000 to 2 million. In 2014 alone, there were 1.5 million drug arrests. 80% was for possession only, half of which were for marijuana. The times today are an aftermath, an aftershock of the events that happened in 70s and 80s. A majority of the population is unaware of its benefits and general nature, while many buy into the propaganda that was spread during the crackdown of the herb. In the recent years, all the laws are getting liberal, with almost every US state having some sort of regulation in favor of marijuana and 8 of them allowing recreational use. The official induction of marijuana into the modern legal world would take a hell lot of lobbying, years of petitioning, and a ragtag groups of lovable misfits who created a cult following.